Hello, Facebook Live watchers.
Hey.
I'm here with Jennifer and Gabby, and they're going to talk about Chatter and Get Out gift guide magazines. They're out, what you can do, what you need to read, everything. So we're going to start with the gift guide. You guys can talk about that.
Yeah, well, we have 2 gift guides actually,
I know,
depending
not
on
one, but
what you're
2.
looking for.
So Get Out is our local gear gift guide. It's a little bit of a departure from the norm. We always want to include some of the newest and coolest stuff, but this time we also wanted to highlight local manufacturers while still getting some of the newest and coolest stuff in there.
Yeah,
So if you
and local
guys,
experiences too.
Yeah.
We have one department, my nature department, which focuses on just kind of, you know, stepping out of the box a little bit, and maybe someone rather than there it is, rather than, you know, buying someone more stuff, buy them something that's, you know, something they can talk about for a really long time, or that 6 months from now they can do, and, you know, really create something that's memories as opposed to just a thing.
Yeah.
So,
I can attest, I've actually done this one, and it's pretty intense. Definitely something I will never
nervous?
forget. Yeah, I'm not as nervous as I am right now. Yeah, of course. You're jumping out of an airplane. Of course, you're going to be, any sane person, I think, would be a little bit nervous.
Did you
Yeah.
jump yourself though, or did the
No,
guide?
you have to do tandem.
Well, did the guide like step off, or did you actually step off?
We
on
were
your own?
like a roly-poly attached to each other.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, you roll out.
yeah, well, no, I was first, and he was kind of on my back.
Because
or
I've
vice
known people
versa.
who were like, I can't do it, I can't do
Yeah.
it, and then they just kind of
Yeah,
lean forward.
nudge them.
I had that. I definitely had that moment, but I did not have to be pushed, thankfully.
How high were you?
I can't remember. I want to say like 10,000 feet, unless that sounds unreal.
Well, if your relatives are really driving you crazy this holiday season, you can literally push them out
Push
of a
them,
plane.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, it was something we did as a family, and I'm super thankful for that memory. So
yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
And then as far as Chatter, the gift guide was very different. It was largely
just the coolest stuff we could come up with.
Yeah, pretty much. We did try to keep it mostly local, although it's not entirely local, correct?
No, not entirely.
No, I can't find where it is.
Some of the more customized options. While we have a lot of great artisans locally that can create really amazing things that are very personal, not all of them can do all of these things. So.
Yeah, and we also feature those monthly with cool finds too, so stepping out of the box and branching out a little bit more on a national or sometimes even international level is kind of fun.
I'm definitely picking from this list for my Christmas list.
Or you could just get a subscription to Get Out for Christmas. That's always a great option too. So yeah,
Or Chatter.
we're chatting.
And then speaking of experiences, Get Out also highlights some pretty amazing ones that some of your neighbors did this past year, in the Your Best Year. So maybe that'll also serve as inspiration. At the very least, you definitely got some eye candy with all the pictures in here. So
Yeah, we had a trip through the mountains, a dream bicycle tour through the French mountains, I should say.
and through the Icelandic mountains.
Yeah, and the Icelandic mountains, which is some of the most beautiful photography that I've seen in a really long time.
They are
No
some
offense
really
to all
nice
our
photos.
local photographers that I love, but they're not out there in Iceland photographing sunsets. So.
Yeah, there's some really nice photos. And you talked about giving gifts. I know you did the more than 100 ideas for the perfect present. What was kind of like the process that went into that, and talk about what you feel like is probably your top 5 gifts.
Ooh.
Process. We all just brainstormed in a Google Doc. Is
Yeah.
essentially our process.
Google Doc is many of the processes. Yeah, so everybody contributed, so we made sure to get a wide range of kind of interests and tastes and even price points, because we're all very different people, thankfully. Gosh, top 5. That's hard. It really
Yeah.
depends on what you're looking for. I know that some of the ones I'm going to ask for, anything house related. And I already have some of these things.
I wouldn't mind the Imbibe wine and spirits customized gift basket. There's also, and I don't actually remember if it made it on the list or not, but Rembrandt's Coffee has Chattanooga
It's on
whiskey
there.
barrel aged coffee.
Yeah, which I didn't know.
And that's always wonderful. And since I am a coffee addict, coffee's always on my list.
And I'm the exact opposite. I don't drink the stuff. So.
Maybe with the whiskey.
Maybe with the
taste,
whiskey.
though.
We'll see, but there's none of the alcohol content. Although if you
know.
got pulled over, an officer might actually question whether or not there was whiskey in your cup. It does smell like whiskey.
But you probably wouldn't need cream or sugar. Whiskey, I would offer that. One thing that I've always wanted, again, experiences, is a subscription to the CSO, or maybe one of those sweet and savory classroom cooking lessons, because my boyfriend does all the cooking and I'm sure he'd like some help.
Is he a kitchen bully, though? Because I've been told that I can be a kitchen bully and no one wants to be in the kitchen with me.
Kind of. We're working on that.
Problem.
Do you like beat people up in the kitchen?
No,
or
I
what's...
just subtly mention that there might be a better way to do what they're doing.
Subtly?
Not so subtly.
Okay, that sounds good.
But knowing that she can really produce some amazing food, which will be featured in next month's palette, I would let her bully me around, I guess.
Okay, I do want to kind of switch the conversation a little bit to, I guess we'll stay in that Christmas themed spirit, but you had a story about a woman who
Karen
meaningful
Stone.
memorabilia, ornaments.
Yeah, she was wonderful enough to get out her Christmas presents early, because since our magazine deadlines are a lot different from the daily papers or something. Back when it was still Halloween, I was calling her and asking her to talk about Christmas. So she actually had this really wonderful story about these ornaments and how much they meant to her in a home that her family had on Walden's Ridge for many, many years. It was her parents' home, and she's lived there pretty much her whole life, on and off, and raised her own children there. And actually, she told the story of an au pair who came in to help raise and teach Spanish to some of her youngest children. And the au pair actually ended up marrying one of her oldest sons, who was obviously much older, but she still has the Christmas ornament that she made when she was 17. So a really beautiful story, just kind of on how ornaments aren't just decorations, they're kind of memories, and she has many, many of those. So here she is.
I actually grew up on Signal, and that's where that Walden's Ridge Guild is located, and that has been on my Christmas list for a long time, those local ornaments. Yeah,
so Karen is also a part of the Walden's Ridge Guild, and every year they make a new Christmas ornament. So whether that's, it's
Little Brown Church, or now it's McCoy Farm and Gardens for this year. Anybody who's familiar with those landmarks, I think would really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just in case you aren't from Signal or aren't familiar, you're definitely familiar with all these other local landmarks that also feature Christmas ornaments. So.
My favorite was the Chattanooga Zoo that actually had the chimpanzees help create an ornament. And the chimps and their keepers actually created, it's this one obviously with the chimp on it, but the chimp actually created an ornament, and they each put like a thumb or a toe print on the back of it with their name, which is really adorable. And all the money goes to a nonprofit to, help wildlife. So it's a good cause too. So.
You guys were really busy putting together these two issues. I know you've both been to Ice on the Landing and had different experiences. So
yeah, we still had time for some festivities. I would say hers was a little more festive than mine. I'm gonna let you take that one. Maybe I can.
Carla, who puts together Chattanooga Presents and Ice on the Landing, was wonderful enough to let me come on before her opening day.
I know.
And ice skate around with a friend of mine, and so I actually used to ice skate and know how. And Jennifer says that she's very different. But, so for me, the experience was a great one. I had a lot of fun on the ice. I hadn't put on skates in a few years, but I didn't fall. Didn't try to do any twirls that I used to be able to do, but I didn't fall either, so I consider that a win. Jennifer didn't fall
I did
either,
not fall
right?
either.
okay,
I did not used to skate.
There's a positive.
I'm glad I did it. It was definitely a highlight of my Canadian friends trip, which she thought was hilarious. But my ankles are not what they used to be. Nor is my balance.
Well, see, I told you.
so-
I think your skates were just dull. I don't think it's your fault.
Yeah.
If
maybe
you
it was the
read
skates.
no, if you read her article, I'm the person that was mentioned, like, oh, grabbing
You're
the rail and going the
You're
whole
the
way
weeble wobble
around.
that I
Oh,
mentioned.
yes.
Oh wow, that's okay.
They wobble,
That's
but they don't fall down.
Well, not falling down is a plus, I think. Even if your ankle's hurt, it's still a plus that you didn't. Because, I mean, when Leslie went out there, she fell down twice, I think.
Oh no.
Yeah, and there was a professional skater out there when we went and we did a
Yeah,
Facebook
she was there when
Live.
I
Us
was there as
too.
well.
I was like, oh
And-
man, way to set us all up. for
Yeah, one of the
failure.
professionals out there fell. So, I mean, you're doing better than a professional right now if you didn't fall, technically speaking.
Yeah, that's why I only went 4 times, so I did not test those odds.
Okay, all right. So we've showed some of the photos, but I know tomorrow is 24-hour festival.
Yeah.
I know.
Main
I'm so
Street.
Which
excited.
you didn't know about until I told you. Which
I
is
didn't know
shocking
about
to me.
that, but I'm new here, so you gotta cut me some slack. I mean,
Well,
man.
Maine by 24 is wonderful. Everyone should know about it, and
Yes.
everyone should go.
It's my favorite weekends.
I sumo wrestled last year, which was really fun. I actually won, surprisingly, even though I'm 4'11". Velo, yeah. So.
are you gonna super
gonna be
wrestle
fun.
again?
I don't know.
I don't think
I
it's on the
think
lineup.
Velo's doing it this year, but I'm not positive.
I don't
Well, if
see
so,
it.
So if they are, I'll be there.
I'll need to see that.
They are doing the adult big wheel races again, though,
Oh,
which is
see
also
that
fun.
I've never competed.
I
in.
have done that one.
Did you win?
I do not think I lost. How about that?
Okay, I know there's you were telling me about a new Chattanooga
yeah.
comic book series.
Yeah, local artists have designed
let me
this
do this
new series featuring local landmarks, local stories, in a radically different way, which I think is super cool. And they're going to debut it at Main Times 24. I believe at Starline Books, but check your Main Times 24 lineup.
Yeah.
And then we'll look for you there.
All right. I know in Get Out, and there's also a story about this cycling group that is taking on some really tough climbs. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was part of our big experience-based feature, and it's actually someone who I know through the French American Chamber who mentioned it to me. And she said, "Oh my gosh, my husband and I went with this huge bicycle group." And she was like, "I rode around in the car for the most part and lived a life of comfort. But they climbed some of the same mountain trails that they climb in the Tour de France. So it was a
pretty
really
amazing.
incredible journey and something that I am not physically capable of doing at all."
No.
Yeah, because they travel.
So-
What, is it over 200? It's over 200 miles, isn't it?
Well, it's less about the number of miles and more about the elevation
Yeah.
and the rise and fall, because that's what makes it so incredibly strenuous.
Yeah.
And much more impressive than my biking capabilities.
I don't think I could do that either, but we could get Jennifer and her ankles out there.
Oh my God. No,
and-
I've been to the Pyrenees, not the Alps, and even just climbing them in a car was a challenge
Yeah.
at some point. So, but hopefully that will set up some goals for you for your coming year.
Yeah.
And one of the other stories I wanted to talk about was my man riding with the bulls. So just tell us a little bit about that. I know we've talked to him before. He was in the airport.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
all that was happening over there.
Yeah.
That's way
But
back.
tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, I love Jacobo. He helped me get said bike in the garage from my 6'4" boyfriend last year.
Wow.
He was instrumental in some of that process. And yeah, he did what many people have maybe dreamed of but been too scared to do. I've been to Pamplona, but I would not run with the bulls. But he had a great time. Definitely, I guess, a dream come true for him. Something that he's wanted to do since childhood.
Well, and
Yeah.
one thing he talked about was recognizing your own mortality, and kind of for him the experience wasn't just about running with the bulls, it was the whole experience of the people and the culture and kind of a little bit of everything, and really for him it was kind of all encompassing, not just about one day or one event or want to run or something like that.
Yeah, he was telling me that he loved it when he went. He said he really enjoyed it, and I think he said he wants to go back.
Yeah.
But there's some great photos in this Your Best Year section. So just you can kind of show the people, just you
Yeah,
put that
you
up to
can
the
get a
camera.
feel for what that would
There's
be
some
like, right?
really nice photos.
Yeah. Although I would have to say my favorite are still Iceland.
Yeah, the Iceland photos look really nice too. But this entire section, I think, has just a bunch of really good photos.
Yeah, definitely will spark some wanderlust.
Yeah.
We even have, it leads into our first photo feature as well, which will also probably spark some wanderlust, even just here at home.
That's great. Well, I guess tell everybody where they can pick up Chatter or Get Out magazine.
All over town, actually.
Yes.
There's plenty
Or
of
you can
places.
subscribe for it to be easily delivered to your home
Which
for only
is-
$12.
Yeah,
Which is,
$12
one
a
of your
year.
suggestions for a present, in your 100 gift
Yeah,
ideas.
absolutely.
Yeah.
$12
Get Out
a
subscription.
year, and you can have our ideas.
Ideas at the ready for things to do.
Ready. 12 months a year.
And obviously, you can get them online, timesfreepress.com.
And
Yeah,
yeah, racks
and-
around town. Or you can call us and we can hook you up with one.
Yeah. But Camp House has some
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods, Earth Fair out in East Brainerd. Now I'm blanking on all the other locations.
There's
stands-
too many. There's too many.
Yeah, there's
But-
dozens around town, kind of all over.
Okay.
We like to be everywhere at once.
Well, I know you guys are busy, so I won't keep you. But thank you guys for stopping by and talking about the magazines and some of the great things you have to offer. And we'll probably be back again in a month or so for January.
Well, we will. We'll be over there working.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.